Okay, part 2, phone died. I'm going to continue with that small brush. Then I outlined my roof. And in my roof, I'm just adding broken, just kind of some jotted black lines throughout my roof, up and down. No pattern. This is just kind of weathered. Also in my 2x4s. I want you to do this. You need to outline, sorry. Your door frames. And it's not a perfect line, it's just kind of me very lightly adding a line around here. And then just a few lines in here to black, just to make it look older. Doorway. Sorry. She's a Chihuahua and crotchety. She's 15 and he's 5 months and like an annoying little brother. So we outline the door frame. We're going to add a little aging to it. And it's just a broken lines that just aren't perfect, that just are horrible, but they look good from far away. You may want to add a handle to this door. I'm just going to add just a line there. You can also, I don't know, break it in two and add 2 different lines. It's whatever you want, but I've got to make my door old, so I'm just adding some broken lines through here. No patterns. Wherever that paintbrush lands, it lands. I want you to come over here to our square. Outline our square. And this is where we have some fun. You know how we aged everything? Now we're going to age our whole barn, same brush. But what I want you to do is remember your paint strokes. So these all went sideways. This one went up and down, and this one went up and down. So when I age this, I am just going to randomly run my brush through there. Random. Soft, super soft touch, like I'm not touching it at all. This one's up and down. This one is going to have a sunflower in front of it, so don't worry about it too much. If for some reason you get a huge black line that you don't like, we can always just cover it later with a little bit of gray. This one too, up and down. And it's such a light touch. All we're doing is weathering our farmhouse. Now that we're done weathering, let's do it here too. Okay, now that we're done weathering our farmhouse, I am going to use that same brush. You may need to clean it off, and some black paint. And this part will drive you crazy, but it'll all come together. So black paint, little brush, and through here we're just going to add random lines. I go bottom to top because it gives me a nice sharp point at the top. Not that it matters, because we're going to add some cotton. You're going to take this all the way across. Just random lines through there. Then I am going to retire this for a little while and take my medium brush I'm going to take the end of it, make sure it's dry, so you can use your chamois or your fingers over your cup. But I just kind of fray open the end just a little bit. And then I take the tip of it, put it in my white, tap it a couple times to get that excess paint off. And on each of these, I'm just going to add a couple taps. 3 or 4, whatever. But I am adding my cotton, and I'm just tapping. And you're going to pull in some of that wet black, which is super cool because it will give you shadow. And if you don't have a line and you say, oh, this is kind of boring in here, just tap in there. You don't have to have a line to put your taps. This is a cotton field. We're having fun with it. And over here, we're having a big sunflower. So if there's something over here you don't like, we'll just make sure to put the stalk on it. And notice I'm not even really paying too much attention to where these lines are. I make sure that I have a tap on each line, but if it looks like it needs more somewhere, I'm just going to tap in there and give it more, just to fill this in, make it nice and full and pretty. See how I'm starting to pull in some of the gray from that wet? I like doing that. I really like to have a lot of taps in here. I like it to be a nice full field. Please don't ask me how many lines I did. It's as many as I felt necessary. That's how many lines I did. Many that look good on my painting. All right, putting that paintbrush back in our water. We're gonna rinse it off. Now, make sure when you are teaching this to pause in between. So yes, I went really fast here, and you'll go pretty fast, but you'll do yours, you'll talk about it, you'll finish yours, and then you'll walk around to check on people, make sure that they're doing okay. So each of these, like when you finish your black lines, you're gonna stop, walk around, make sure everyone's okay. Just kind of pay attention to where they are in the painting, and how fast you can go, how slow you can go. Also take time to stop and help someone if they need help. I actually give breaks, like when I'm done with the background. Does anyone need to powder their nose or get a drink or whatever. When I'm done drawing my barn, I do the same thing. When I'm done with this part, I'll do the same thing. But I still keep it so that it's only like a 2-minute break, unless everybody goes to the bathroom at the same time. So sticking with that same medium brush, I am going to flatten it again. So clean it, flatten it. Green on the tip of my brush. And a little bit of yellow because we got that sunflower. Green. A tiny bit of yellow. A little bit of white too. And I'm going to start in my, because it kind of covers up right here. So I'm going to start here with my stalk and just bring it straight down. And I like this brush because it'll give me a nice thick stalk, which will make it closer. And then off the side, I will do one leaf, and then another one here, 2 leaves. I'll come back and go over it a little bit with my small brush, but right now, it kind of looks like a heart. And then I switch to my baby brush once again. Baby brush, a little bit of brown on that brush. And to my stalk, I'm just going to add random lines. Normally I would blend these in. Also to the outside of my leaf. The underside. Then I'll grab a little bit of white and do the same thing. Just random, get them in there. Top side of my leaf. And then a tiny bit of yellow. I'm just going to add that in the middle of my leaf. And through here again. Okay, then I'm going to take that medium brush again that's damp but not dripping. I don't want it dripping. And I'm just going to, just with the damp brush, no paint, just going to go over it, back. Same way my lines are going. And around, just to blend it a little. So that you get some texture in there. And then my favorite part. It's so good. Small brush, brown paint. About here, we're going to draw a circle. And then I just kind of like to tap in the paint very softly. Some people will just jab it and they're going to ruin that paintbrush for them for the rest of this. So you'll have to remind them to use kind of the side of the paintbrush to tap it. And just remind them if they don't, they're not going to be happy with the rest of their painting. And then I don't clean it. I just put a little black on there. And right in the middle, I'm going to tap a circle. Remember, they have to use kind of the side of the brush and not the tip of the brush for the tapping, or they will screw up their brush. And then we clean off that brush and we are going to add our yellow. Tapping. Looks funky right now. It'll look good. And then I'm going to start anywhere, and I'm going to make my leaves. They're an almond shape. And then I start from the bottom and I pull it up so that I get some of that brown in my leaf. You're going to go around your entire sunflower. Now this is something that I learned later on after I started teaching. It took about a year for me to figure this out, this tip out for them, is that they grow like a clock, like a clock's hands. So you've got 12, 1, 2, 3. So just make sure that the tips of your leaves are pointed out like a clock's hands. We're going to go all the way around. Trying to make them symmetrical. First layer. Okay, I'm going to make this sunflower looking like it's looking this way. So the tip to that is make your leaves on whatever side you want closest to you. So I want this side closer to me, bigger than the ones on this side, because this side is closer, so these will be bigger, and it'll give the eye the illusion that your sunflower is turned. And this side will be smaller. Giving the illusion that this side is farther away. Okay, so we've got our single layer in there. We're going to take a little bit of brown on our brush. And starting at the pulp, we're just going to pull some brown in. The very tip of our brush. I like to do this while my yellow is wet so that it blends in a bit. I don't know if you guys can, if you can hear the sound of the wind in the trees, but it's really pretty. Okay, so I've got the brown that I pulled out. I'm going to take the same brush, clean it off, get a little bit of white on the tip of it, and from the outside, I'm going to very carefully bring some white in from the tip of the outside, because that is where your reflection would be, and the inside would be where your shadow would be. If it gets too white or too brown, I'm just going to add a little yellow on top. It's acrylic, easily fixed. Okay, with whatever's left on your brush after you do this, I want you to add some taps of white to the brown and a couple taps of white to the black, because even though it's dark, it has reflection. My stalk is a little large for this sunflower, but hey. As such is life. And then, I'm just making these a little larger, made them a little too small. And then I'm just adding some yellow to this. I don't know where my son got his ADHD. Anyway, I'm just adding a little yellow on top. It is customary to sign it in the lower left or right hand corner. You can sign it anywhere you like, though, since this is your painting. Some artists do like to hide their signature in their painting somewhere. I just put my initials, and you can even sign the back. It is customary to put the date on the back and not the front, but again, that is up to the artist. I'm just going back over this, blending it a little, because I am obsessive. And that's it. That is your painting. My initials. Now, if you are at a party, you just ask everybody to leave all of their stuff at the table. You'll go around, you'll pick it up. We throw out the plates, we empty the cups, and then we put the paintbrushes in a Glad bag, or I'm sorry, Ziploc bag, and not a Glad bag, that's way too big. And we just bring them home and we wash them out at home. I hope, I know this was crooked. There we go. So I hope this made things easier for you.